I am back with another sewing machine video today. Once again we are at my 1934 Singer Treadle sewing machine, and as I've used it, and it has been used a lot over the years, this is my go-to machine, if you will, it started clunking.
Welcome to 24 Washington Avenue. If you're new, I post videos of historically and vintage-inspired creations, probably featuring my antique sewing machines and hopefully sharing bits here and there that you didn't know. Please click on the subscribe button and don't forget to click the bell too so that you're notified when I release something new. Thank you!
As I've used it, it started clunking, and I've been doing a lot of really slow work as I've been working on my 1890s Symington corset. And because I've been going slowly, it's been really noticeable that this machine has been clunking. Now, I bought this probably around about the year 2001, so it's been with me for a very long time. It's crossed the ocean to remain my trusty sewing companion. But in the last several years or so, certainly in the last decade, I've learned a lot more about sewing machines than I knew when I first got it. So as I'm looking at it, I'm seeing things that perhaps I wouldn't have known to look out for back then that now I do know. So if I move this, you can hear the rattling that goes on, and just watching it move immediately, you can see this join here is very loose. Now this join is controlled with a screw on the outside, and if I tighten this, I should be able to observe immediately an improvement in the amount of rattling. I am going to have to grab a screwdriver though. So I'm just using the screwdriver set that came with one of my old machines and putting it into the screw head. It is a flat head on the outside, and now as I tighten it, we have no motion. So immediately that has fixed the major clunking. But there is still a bit more. There's a bit of wobble here. Now the pedal is held in place with two screws on either side. One over here and one over there. And on the outside of the screw is a nut that tightens in. Now the screw itself is adjustable. You can change the amount of inset, I guess, that it has into the pedal. And if you look at this right away, you can see that there is a much larger gap on this side than there is on the other side. So the first thing I'm going to do is to back out the screw on this side and then put in the screw on that side. Now obviously I can get a screwdriver on this side. How am I going to do it on that side without taking the whole mechanism apart? Well, if I undo that nut, I'm going to guess that once I've backed this one out, the other one can just turn in. So let's see how we do here, and I will try to jog the camera as little as possible, but I can't make any promises. So that nut's come off, and I'm just lifting up to try to remove the pressure. Now before I back this out too far, I am just going to put a drop of oil on here, because the last thing I want is for it to get stuck. And I'm just using regular sewing machine oil. So you can see how it's tapered at the end, designed to go in. So now this whole thing slides from side to side. Now if you do have a machine and the whole pedal is wobbling, the chances are these are backed out too far. You can oil this section so that the motion is very smooth, almost like a ball and socket. So you can have it in there pretty tight, but I'm just eyeballing approximately what would be an equidistance between the two, and then screwing this. Now if I go any further, it's starting to move it to the left, so I'm going to leave that one about there, and now let's see if we can do the other one. And this is where I might bump the camera. You know what, I'm just going to move it right now. So there you go, an intended move. And this one's going to be a bit more tricky. Once again, I'm just going to put some oil on here. Oh, that came out a bit more than I anticipated. As you can see, that just came right off. And now the fun part of working out how I'm going to get that in. I am going to use a pair of pliers here. They are needle nose, they do have teeth on them, and ordinarily I would really not want to do that on something that has a thread, just because there's a risk of damaging the thread. More oil. Let's see if we can do this without a splatter. Come on. No. Not cooperating. Come on. There we go. No. So I gave that good oiling. And I'm just backing this off so that hopefully I can use my fingers to turn it. There we go. That's thinking about it. No, I'm going to have to use the pliers. So that's not working very well. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to remove the bolt on this side altogether. Hopefully it'll cooperate, there we go. So that this slips off. I guess we're going to have to go this way. And there is a lot of dust build-up that has accumulated over the years. Just have to go in after a certain point. So I'm going to slip the end of the screw into the slot. It does have, let's see if we can zoom in on here. You see it's got a groove at the end of that, so you could put a screwdriver into it. So what I'm doing on the other side is I've got in like this, and I'm using it kind of like a handle to turn it. It doesn't really want to move too much. Because now I'm at the point where I can't move it from that side and I can't move it from this side. So this is being a little bit more fiddly than I thought it was going to be. But that's alright. My bullying efforts are not working too well, it would seem. let's try this. And yes, my fingers are getting lovely and dirty. There we go. Hopefully that's just enough movement to be able to get the screwdriver back in. Oh my word. Shame on me for not doing this years and years ago. Just trying to move some of the odd greasy dust from around here. I'm thinking it's just about where I need it to be. A bit more, but I think perhaps now. That might be all I get. Alright, that's a lot better than it was. So I'm just going to put more oil on. There's a reason why these things are greasy, and that's just to help it rotate in there nicely. And put some on here. And get that back in place. Okay, so that is snug. Now you obviously don't want to over tighten it, because if it's too tight you're not going to be able to move the wheel very easily. That feels good. There's good movement on it. There's a little bit of give here, but not too much. Not enough to rattle, certainly. And then I've just tightened this outer bolt in place, and that should do. She doesn't rattle anymore.